so today we're going to be talking about improvising, and we already had one person talk about improvising. I forgot what that person said already. Can you mention that again? Yes.
Like, it's when someone is, like, dancing on stage and stuff, and they're just, like, making up stuff as they go, kind of.
Somebody would be dancing on stage and just making it up as they go. Yeah? Anybody else have anything about improvising?
It's just like making things up as you go.
Making things up as you go. Yeah?
I was going to say what she said.
Okay. So we all have a good understanding about improvising as making things up as we go. Okay? Anybody can dig deeper into that?
Doing random things and knowing the notes and their sounds, and just doing random things in the areas where those sounds would be and see what sounds good.
Yeah, it's really interesting because you said two different things, and I want to kind of talk about those two sides, right? One, you said you use random notes, and then on the other side, you were saying you have to know what the notes are and what they sound like, and then play with those, right? So this is two sides of making things up as you go. You can make things up as you go and be really random about it. You can also make things up as you go and be intentional about it, understanding the notes to play and how to play and when to play, but you don't know what you're going to play next, right? It's a really interesting thing that you bring up, because improvising is a little bit like the second thing you said, right? It's not just randomly doing stuff, right? I'm improvising my words now, but aren't I talking about something?
Yeah.
Okay? Same thing with improvising, right? If I were to just kind of jibber jabber and my words were jumbled up and you really couldn't understand what I was saying, I would still be improvising my words. But because we're talking about something, and I'm using words that I'm putting together in my head and making a sentence out of and making a point out of, I'm also improvising, but I'm making a point, right? I'm saying something. Same with notes. Notes work that way too, okay? So I'm going to improvise on the xylophone, and if you would, please listen for some specific things that we can talk about where they don't really sound random and how I organize those notes. Okay, so I haven't practiced this before, because you saw I just made this GarageBand file while you were sitting here. So I'm going to play some stuff and see if we can specifically think about what am I doing that lets you know that I'm not just randomly making stuff up. You're too kind. So what are some specific things that you may have noticed in that improv that you may say, okay, I know that it's not completely random now because of these certain things? Yes, sir?
Because you like, played with it.
Can you speak more specifically about what do you mean by I played with it?
Like, you played the xylophone, like, with, like, the beat, it was, like, the beats were, like, the same.
The beats were the same. Did you notice that some of the things that I heard, I tried to put into my playing as well? I listened to the beat and tried to play with that.
The rhythm was really similar?
The rhythm was very similar, right? So I was even listening to the rhythmic things that were happening and then playing off of those, right?
Like you could like repeat? Like
How many of you heard that I used some repeating sounds? Yes, right? Even though I was making some things up, I used repeating sounds. Yeah, good.
Like her, you were repeating the notes, and you kind of knew, like, once you did it, you knew what notes were coming because you already did it, so you repeated it.
I knew what notes were coming because I just played them, thought about which ones sound good, and then repeated those notes, right? You know what? You want to make your improv sound good, don't you? Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
It seemed like you didn't do it randomly, that you had a plan.
It sounded like I had a plan, but did I ever play that song before? No, right? So how do you make it sound like you have a plan, even if you're doing it for the first time?
Make it up as you go.
Yes, and then you make it up as you go. Okay? Using these, oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I have a question.
Yeah.
Well, not a question, but like, what I think you did is you like thought of one like rhythm beat, right?
Yeah.
And then you just kept on doing that.
I thought of one rhythm or beat, and then I played off of that one. Yeah, that was definitely something I did. Okay? What did I have to do as a musician to know the beat and to know the rhythms and to know that the sound sounds good and to know that I repeated things? What did I have to do as a musician to know that? Yeah.
Like listen part to it.
Yes, that's, man, on the first time, you have to listen. That's the number one thing. In improvising, yes, you have to know the notes, you have to know the rhythms, you have to know what key you're in, what notes to play, all these things. As a technical musician, these things are so important. How would I ever know if I was playing with the same rhythm or playing with the same beat or repeating something if I don't use my ears, right? So we're going to learn how to do this thing called trade fours, okay? One person's going to improvise and another person's going to improvise, and we're going to have this like musical conversation happening without using words, right?
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, okay, so
We did that in my old school.
Debate.
when you do that, we have to be able to use our ears because if this person is playing about race cars and this person is playing about puppy dogs, it doesn't sound like they're having the same musical conversation, right? So that's what we're going for. We want to have this person play about puppy dogs and this person play about puppy dogs. Okay? Yeah.
Sometimes for piano in my theory book, I have to work on question and answer phrases. There's a question, and then I have to improvise an answer for it.
This is exactly that, right? So in her piano theory book, she has a question phrase that somebody plays, and she has to improvise an answer to it, right? This is the same thing. It's like one person's going to play a question, the next person's going to play an answer. This person's going to play a question, this person's going to play an answer. So take those things that you understand from your theory book and apply it to today, right? Okay.
Sir, this is what I did. Remember, like
Yeah, so you've done this before. Would you mind being our first volunteer here? I'm going to go on one side. He's going to go on the other side. Would you like to play the questions or the answers?
question.
Questions. So you go first.
There you go.
And you're going to go for 4 measures. This is what we call trading fours. 1, 2, 3, 4. After he's done asking his question, I'm going to play the answer for 5, 6, 7, and 8. Then he's going to go back to asking another question for 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to answer it 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay?
Yep.
Here it goes, bud. 1, a 2, a 1, 2, ready, go. Very nice. Were we asking and answering the same questions?
Yes.
How did you know that? How did you know that he wasn't asking something about puppy dogs and I was answering something about race cars? How do you know that we were actually playing about the same thing? Yes.
Like you were kind of like the same, like you were kind of using the same notes.
Do you notice that I was using some of the same notes?
Yeah.
Okay? I was paying really close attention to the notes he was playing. And sometimes tried to play the exact same thing back and forth because he's asking me something, I want to answer him, yeah?
Not gonna.
We're still talking about this, yeah?
Well, it kind of sounded like it rhymed a little bit.
Sounded like it rhymed.
In a way.
In a way. Yeah, can you speak more about that?
Like, it sounded like he was saying one thing, and then you were saying it. Like he was doing one thing, and you were doing another. It's hard to explain, but yeah.
He was doing one thing, I was doing another.
But they were still corresponding.
It was still corresponding. Like, was I mimicking his same words the whole time?
No.
No. Your answer isn't the same as the question, is it? It's answering the question, right? So you have to put your own little spin on it. You have to put your own spin on it, right? Can you give the mallet to this gentleman over here?
Sure.
He has to go next, and I'm going to pass my mallet off next too. So can you come, this guy?
Oh.
Yeah. So we're going to do one more round of me and you, and then I'm going to pass mine off, and you're going to pass yours off, and we're going to get it going around the room. Okay. So would you rather ask the questions, or do you want to be the first trait of 4 or the second trait of 4?
I'll do a question.
Okay.
Wait, which side?
It's up to you.
Okay.
Which side would you rather be
Let's
on?
go.
All right. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, ready, go. Similarities between ours? What are some specific things that you heard between our improvisations?
Well, when he asked the question, you answered, it sounded sort of the same, but with your own little twist.
It sounded sort of the same. I put my own little twist on it. What are some specific things that made it sound the same?
You used the same, I think you used the same ones.
I used some of the same ones.
Notes.
Some of the same notes. But you know, it's really interesting that you use the word one, because I tried this time to start my improvs on the same note that he started his on.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. Awesome.
It's
Yes.
the same rhythm, so he would ask the question in a rhythm, and you were corresponding to a rhythm.
So I tried to use the same rhythm. So pitch has something to do with it. You're talking about notes. Rhythms have something to do with it, the longs and the shorts.
Like when he played the question, he kind of went like used one of the low notes and the high note, and you used the low notes and the high notes.
Yes, I was even thinking about the contour of what he was doing, right? If he played a really high note and a really low note, I tried to mimic that too, because that was part of his question, right? So we have to really use our listening skills here to think about what he's doing, and then use our musician skills to recreate something and improvise back and forth, okay? Can you pass yours off to a girl, please?
I'll be question.
Okay, I'll be answer.
Okay. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go through this twice. So you're asking, like you're playing that question, you're playing the answer, you play question, you play the answer, we'll stop.
Okay.
Okay? 1, 2, ready, go. Parents, before you pass your mouths off, may I ask, I heard a couple people go, stop, stop, stop. How do you know when to stop? How do you know when it's the next person's time?
The fourth beat.
The fourth
Measure.
the fourth measure, okay? Yes, really nice. So not only are we have to think about the rhythms and the pitches and the contour and the direction and improvising, we also have to think about how long. This is called the phrase length. How long, okay? You guys will continue this next time you're here. We're going to have this question and answer thing going. Please think about improvising before we come back, and I'll see you guys next time.